Alright guys, well here we are. The winter oak build is in its final resting place here in my workspace, and I made the decision to go ahead and put in the legwork to get all the build videos, all the footage I took. I'm going to go through it and put it up on YouTube. So I just made this YouTube channel. Got a lot of video to go through. As you can see, the first probably third of it, maybe question mark, is footage from my phone. It's of a lesser quality than this camera, which in itself is not particularly great, but it is an improvement over the phone quality. So just keep that in mind. You know, the video, maybe audio, I don't know. I haven't even looked through the footage yet, but it'll improve visibly as you go along through the build. I'm just watching these guys eat fancy donuts and shit. So just to recap, start to finish, from ordering, I'd say it took about 3 weeks. Took about a week and a half for everything to get here, and then a week and a half for me to build it. Just working on it in the evenings and weekends around my job. This was the first water-cooled system I've ever built. First time I've ever touched any of these kinds of different water cooling components. I was flying pretty blind through so much of it. The actual build process, I did an extensive design previously in a 3D environment in Rhino. And there were some things different with the case, the Core P3, Thermaltake P3, when I got it, that almost ended the project. So I took some risks, you know, modified the cases I needed to, and it wasn't much. If you have a drill and a hacksaw, you can do the same thing. So let's see, one other thing I want to mention, well, I'll mention the specs again. It's the Thermaltake Core P3 case. It's got the Aorus Taichi X399 motherboard. It's the Threadripper 1950X CPU. We've got G-Skill, 32 gigs, 4 8 gigabyte sticks in quad channel, running at 3200 on the 14-14-14 timings on the latency. We've got a Vega Frontier Edition GPU in the front there with the most visible graphic. Let's see, I used EK. Oh, I've got a Samsung 960 500 gigabyte SSD in there. All the build stuff's going to be in the description for you, ongoing in all the videos. Let's see, it's I used EK's water blocks for the CPU, for the GPU. I used EK's Vardar fans, EK's radiator. This is a 480 mil radiator that nobody, like, I saw one random picture of somebody doing this, and that was enough for me to, you know, go for it. There's no documented support for a 480 millimeter radiator with this case, but it works. I used an AlphaCool D5 pump and 250 millimeter reservoir combo that I think is sold out by now, but there are certainly comparable and similar units floating around still like it. I had to use specific mounts that I got from Mod My Mod, made by AlphaCool, sold by Mod My Mods in New York, to mount the reservoir to those fan housings, I guess. The fan grills came from Cooler Guys out in Washington State, if I remember correctly. The fittings on all the water cooling joints are Barrow, and I used Primo Chill's half-inch inner, 3/4 inch outer diameter tubing, soft tubing for the loop itself. I think that's about it. Thermaltake was supposed to ship. Oh yeah, I used the easy DIY graphics card riser cable, extension cable or adapter. Thermaltake didn't send one. I thought they were going to, but they didn't. With the case, it just simply wasn't in the box. I had already gotten the other easy DIY because I had seen so many reports of the original or the Thermaltake unit GPU adapter just failing for so many people. So I already got that at the same time I bought everything else. But another thing I want to mention, in all these videos, you know, I made it a point to turn off the music I was listening to because I'm going to obviously share it with people on YouTube, and I don't feel like dicking around with music in the production. So what I'm going to do is flash up a little annotation here, and when you click on that, it's going to take you to my SoundCloud page, which this isn't like personal promotion, I'm just including it because that's what I was listening to the whole time while I was building this. So if you want to kind of get a sense for, you know, my workspace and workflow, kind of hear where I'm coming from, you can just open that in another tab, push play, and it'll run through all the songs that I was listening to for the, you know, week or so that I was building this. As you'll hear me comment in a lot of these clips, you know, I didn't start out anticipating putting all this on YouTube. Once I realized the effort involved, I figured I should go ahead and do it just in case anyone wants to try something similar. So the video quality, you know, probably doesn't improve that much in terms of like the actual definition of the camera is probably better. It looks better plainly, but I'm shit with a camera, and my focus on this was not while I was building it. You know, I love you guys a little bit, but not enough to focus more on the camera work than the computer work. So this was totally my focus. Like several times I put the camera down, and you guys talk to the table for a split second while I use two hands to do what I need to do. But generally, I feel good enough about it being a complete look at the build that I can and probably should share it. And it's not super shitty. In any case, the camera work, it's whatever. If you're watching this already, you're probably kind of at an enthusiast level, and I think that this will at least serve to help in a technical capacity for anybody who is taking on a monster project like this. So that's just kind of all I wanted to say. Shout out to the guys in the watercooling subreddit at Reddit. They were super just so generous with their time and knowledge. I started out this build saying, guys, I want a cheap 3D animation and rendering system, and I'm 100% function over form. Hanging out with the water cooling guys for a few weeks, I kind of get the sense that they don't necessarily focus as much on high performance as the presentation. So some of that rubbed off, and I did realize, like, if I just got white tubing instead of clear tubing, I could throw some basic paint on it, and it might make a world of difference. And then this artwork, I edited a piece that I found online. This is actually a much larger image. I just grabbed this tree and pulled it over, and there it is. Local sign shop printed it out along with all the logos in one huge image that I cut out, and it was like $35, I think, after tax. So it was worth it, totally worth it. Don't try to do it with only one person applying it. You know, I had I've got some bubbles in there. I don't know if you can see it, but probably could have been better if I had paid more attention to that, some more planning in that regard. But that was the final step. I could care less, honestly. The components work. There are no leaks. It is 100% badass monster system, my first, and I'm thrilled that I can start to get to know it. If you guys want to subscribe, no guarantees that I'll be doing crazy shit like this in the future, but I will likely be uploading parts of my experience with this machine as I get to know it and get into starting to do some of the things that I want to do with it. So without further ado, hope you guys check that music It's probably going to make it a bit more entertaining. Just drop it down to like 20% volume and go from there. Thanks for watching. Peace.